Hello, everybody, and welcome into another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Dangerous Animals. It's an Australian shark serial killer movie starring a guy who's like Tom Hardy if he was all torso. That's his vibe. Like a swarthier Tom Hardy is this guy. Joining me tonight, first up from Manhattan, New York City, please welcome John Schnarch to the show.
Hello, Eric.
He's like a swarthier Sebastian Stan.
Longer hair, at least.
He's like Sebastian Stan, but if he was all ankles. That's what John is like.
How concerned should I be that I am, for the first time ever, very attracted to Jai Courtney?
I think I'm in the same boat. I think I might
he's
be with
in this
you.
sort of like late stage Oliver Reed thing that is just working for me.
I think that is the perfect description.
Next up on the show from
Just a whisper of cirrhosis. Perfect.
from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
And last up tonight, she's already out of pocket. Please welcome the resident BGH pistol to the show, Rachel.
Pew, pew, yeah.
That's right.
Sunday fun day. All right.
Guys, it's not just the night to talk about dangerous animals. Okay, this is episode 800 of Bloody Good Horror. John?
Yeah, no, I
John,
stopped counting 750 episodes ago, so...
This show is technically older than the American Union, and at the pace we're going, probably gonna outlive it.
I mean...
So...
Yeah.
It's going
Sunday
great.
fun day. No,
we don't
more.
need to get political right out of the gate, Eric.
We're gonna hit
You know
18 years in the fall, and tonight, like I said, episode 800. John, how old were you when the show started?
Oh, Lord.
As the youngest, as we've established, you're the youngest.
Yeah, no, I was 25? 25.
25.
Sweet
I was
summer
just-
child.
I was just dumb as a bag of fucking rocks when I was 25.
Yeah.
What a world.
Unlike now, where it's like a nice bag of rocks. It's like a...
I've got it at least 40% figured out now,
Yeah,
so that's better, right? Yeah, we put out a note about it earlier. We got like just tons of super nice messages. We're going to read as much of that as we can later. But first, John, the important business. Let's talk about dangerous animals.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Dr. Prime Time. Main feature.
This show, John, was your big break in podcasting, and look at you now.
Yeah, it was. You're right. And horror.
CEO Schnars.
It all started with the business management.
We're recording this on Sunday.
Yeah,
Father's
it's very
Day.
confusing.
What'd you do today, John? Anything fun?
Well, it was Father's Day. You're familiar?
I just said that.
Yeah. My middle daughter had a piano recital, so we did the piano recital.
Oof.
And it was nice. And then we went out to lunch.
Be like, hey, what if for Father's Day I didn't have to go?
No, well, so it's funny. She didn't like have to go. The teacher invited her, and like the teacher invites all of her students. And it was like one of these like, if you can't make it, totally understand. But I had missed the previous piano recital, like in the spring, like for the fall semester, and so it was a tough one. I was like, yeah, love to do it. No, it was nice. It's a heartwarming moment.
Sounds
Real
great.
good.
All right, please bring us the word of the day.
Eric, today's word is windlass. Windlass. That's Windlass. Windlass.
Windlass.
A windlass. Yes, I'm going windlass, but yeah, you're right. Windlass. Let's say a type of winch used especially on ships to hoist anchors and haul on mooring lines, and especially formally to lower buckets into and hoist them up from wells.
I like when you talk
It's a
sexy
windlass.
boat language to me.
You know, we don't get
This
to deploy
movie,
a lot
we're
of
gonna
boat
get to
language.
it. We're gonna get to it. This movie is so horny for the ocean. It's on brand from start to finish. How horny it is for the ocean.
Yeah, Well, look. So windlass comes to us from, they think, the Old Norse Vindus, which
Is this our
literally
first
means
Old
winding
Norse
pole.
word?
I mean, we've probably come on.
Incredible.
There's been like 700
I don't
words.
think I've ever
It's
heard that one.
Hard to say.
John, tell me about dangerous animals.
Yeah, dangerous animals is
I couldn't tell you who
From
put it out because there
director-
were 400 production logos before this movie started.
there were some folks involved. Most importantly, let's say Sean Byrne. I believe it's his third feature. Or at least we've covered 2 previous Sean Byrne films. It's The Loved Ones, which was 07, 08. Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
movie.
Well, I feel like that's like a film we championed, but it's like one of these things that you
Is
ask
Loved
like
Ones
the
the
average
one
film.
with the girl, the prom girl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course. Yeah, that was a big hit. People love that.
Australian film. So Sean Byrne, he also did The Devil's Candy, if you'll recall The Devil's Candy. That was the
Ethan Embry?
yes.
Is that right?
He sort of is like an artist, but there's like heavy metal music, and then he
Little
like
devil action. Yeah.
goes crazy? Question
Pedophile.
mark. I don't know. I remember liking it. So yeah, Dangerous Animals. Sean Byrne comes to us, written by Nick Lepard. We've already discussed Jai Courtney. He of swarthier Oliver Reed. Can you be swarthier than Oliver Reed? It's hard to say. Yeah, but, it's starring also this woman, Hassie Harrison, who I was not familiar with. She plays Zephyr, is the character's name. She is a regular on that Yellowstone program. So for the Yellowstone heads, it looked like she'd been on since season 3. She's sort of like, a lot
She
of.
just looks like a Jennifer Lawrence reenactor to me.
I was gonna say, and I don't mean it to slander, but sometimes she's talked like Jennifer Lawrence too.
Really? I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't clock that, but now that you're saying it, it's not crazy.
Yeah.
It's really the 2 of them. So Jai Courtney's character is Bruce Tucker, and then Hassie Harrison. So Zephyr. The film opens. We see Tucker abduct 2 they're not a couple necessarily, but they are like traveling together in Australia. They're sort of, I think they're like study abroad kids or something, and they like show up at his boat because he does shark tours. Like these are like the shark tours where you get lowered down in that cage and you get to swim with the sharks.
Yeah, why? Why would anyone want to do that?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I've not done it, but like here for it.
It's peak white people shit, John. Don't do that.
I mean, look, I am a white person, I guess.
You
So,
are.
like, what do you want from me?
Famously
Listen.
white. That's true.
Nars, we've seen
Don't
what happens
dismiss
when
our
CEOs
culture,
go
okay?
into the ocean.
Shark
True.
diving's probably the least offensive part of our culture as white people. Let us have this, Eric.
Yeah, Jesus, Eric. He came for the shark diving.
Well, this
the-
is just one of those movies where I'm just like confident, like this would never happen to me.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
You know what I
look,
mean?
there are
Like-
ways to be safe from
Yeah.
the serial killer shark guy.
There's a certain level that doesn't scare me because I'm like, I would never be anywhere near
Yeah,
this
yeah.
situation.
So they show up at his
I would
boat.
be trying to surf at dawn.
Surfing at dawn, also cool. But let me just get through this, please. He shows up, or they show up. He takes them out. They sort of get ready to start diving. He instead just murderates the guy, just like neck stabs him. Pretty,
Yeah.
fun little neck stab there. And he then captures the girl, and I can't. So that's like, then we snap cut to meeting Zephyr. Zephyr is like a loner. We don't get a ton of backstory. I think she's a foster kid. Like she had kind of passed through the foster system, and so she's just like escaping, and she like lives in Australia, or is like traveling around, lives in a van, surfs. That's like her backstory, basically. She meets a guy, they sort of have a nice night, but then she ghosts on him. And immediately after ghosting him to go surf at dawn, she gets kidnapped by Tucker. So now she is also on the boat with the first girl, whose name is Heather, played by Ella Newton. And then the guy, the boyfriend, because he's really the only other character that we have here is Moses. So the rest of the film is basically Heather and Zephyr, who have been captured, and they are sort of being prepared for
Speaking of white people stuff.
yeah, Zephyr.
Zephyr.
They're being prepared to be
Definitely not
fed to
vaccinated.
the sharks. And then you have Moses, who's sort of fallen in love on his one night stand, and he was like planning to see Zephyr the next day, or like was trying to see her the next day, and he realizes something is wrong, and so then he starts trying to like track them down, and so you've got those two parallel storylines. A lot of this is given away in the trailer, I should say. Like, the film is ultimately, it's, less horror movie, more sort of like thriller about, can Zephyr survive, and like, will she use her cunning to, outwit Tucker?
Jeez.
There's some shark stuff. No, I'm not even trying to be dismissive. I think that there's like a line in the trailer that's like, did he capture the wrong girl or something like that? And it's like, I don't know, maybe. But yeah, so that's it. That's the setup. I was trying to think because we get one pretty gnarly shark killing it. I think it's Heather, right? She gets got.
Yeah.
I saw this now. It's been a little while since, because we were going to cover it last week and then we punted. Yeah, so I don't know. We can stop there unless there's other things I'm missing.
Yeah.
Rachel, why don't you kick us off tonight?
All right. Well, okay. So serial killer by way of shark attack is such a bonkers concept that I mean, I love it because it's so insane, but also like the odds that it's not absolutely fucking terrible are quite low. There's lots of ways that this could have gone terribly wrong. This movie should be awful. And yet I was totally entertained by it. Like, this is, to me, it's just goofy in exactly the right way I want it to be. It's just mean enough in the way that I want it to be. And it succeeds in being pretty suspenseful in parts. We get all the shark mayhem you want, but also it's smart in that the movie does not rely on that, and it's not just the same thing over and over and over again, but rather like a lot of the tension comes from this sort of cat and mouse that's happening aboard the ship. And in the case of Jai Courtney, as we all know, he's horny for the sea. I'm weirdly horny for him, whatever. But I'm going to say a sentence I never thought I would say as someone who is not a Jai Courtney fan typically. Like, he is perfectly cast in this role.
I don't know who he is or what he's ever been in. This is the first time I'm seeing this person.
He was
honestly.
in, like, Suicide Squad and, like, one of the terrible Terminator sequels. Like, that's all I know.
Yeah, Genesis.
Yes.
Oh, I saw Genesis. I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen
There
him.
you go.
But...
And the Tom Cruise
to my
Reacher
point.
movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, I think he's perfectly cast in this. He's like just exactly the right sort of like sweaty Aussie bohunky guy. He plays a psychopath that like vacillates between this unnerving charm and these like pontificating, like mansplaining, mustache twirling performance, all of which I found really compelling. The violence in this is nice and visceral. To me, there's a part where someone hits their face on a counter that made me recoil, more so even than shark attacks. I don't know. I really like Sean Byrne. Everything he's made, I've enjoyed, and this one is exactly smart enough and dumb enough to be right in the lane of what I wanted this movie to be. It's a good modern take on like the Ozploitation sort of tradition.
Casey.
I'm pretty close to on board with Rachel with everything she had to say. I enjoyed this. I went into this with measured expectations. I too is not a big Jai Courtney fan going into this. He's just always seemed to play meathead characters, so I wasn't expecting a whole lot. And watching this unfold, and as he started getting into his groove, it hung everything on his shoulders, and he did so great carrying it. I mean, there's moments in watching his performance where you can't help but think of, like Silence of the Lambs and stuff when he's dancing around on the boat and whatnot. It was just great, and he made it his own, so it didn't feel like he was just copying that, but you could feel the DNA there. So yeah, I really like this a lot. I was a big fan of The Loved Ones. Devil's Candy I did like in the past, but once I remembered who Sean Byrne was and remember that he directed The Loved Ones, I got pretty excited for this. I really love the opening in this. That opening sequence to this before the title is fantastic. There's that 10-minute or so segment when we're meeting Zephyr and their boyfriend and whatnot, and they're getting set up. I didn't really connect with the movie there in that short 10 minutes as they were getting started, but it wasn't a problem because by the time it only took like that 10 minutes before things started happening. From that moment that Jai Courtney shows up and makes his getaway with Zephyr, this movie turns on a dime from that first 10 minutes where the pacing's getting set up, and it's just kind of, it's intense throughout. And it is campy and it's funny, but they do a really great job for thriller with the building that tension in this small space. So it was enjoyable. There's some great kills in here. I thought it was fun, and like Rachel said, Jai Courtney was like made for this role. I just thought he was great, and he was so intense, and you can see him like almost vibrating to the physically vibrating when he's shouting. It's just like A+.
John.
I'm pretty aligned actually here.
Nice.
Yeah, no, this to me is a very solid summer little genre thing. I 100% agree. The movie comes down to the performance we get out of Jai Courtney. I will say, because like I'm probably like a notch below where you all are landing. It seems like there's not that much shark stuff in here, which
No.
is like fine, but I don't know. It could have had like a little bit more, I guess. There's also, and we should talk. I'm curious to kind of get into it. It gets a little repetitive, I think, in sort of like the transition from the second act to the third act, with all the like, because every time he has to like kill someone, it's such a convoluted way that he kills people. It's like he has to get them to fall
Hilariously
asleep,
convoluted,
then he has to get them into their outfit, then he has to get them up onto the, and it's
But
like,
it's not fun
Stop
unless you got like another
kink-shaming,
person to
okay?
watch.
He's got to
Look
set the
at this.
camera
no,
up.
There's got to be
totally.
two people because one of them has to watch. The camera's got to be
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
I
Gotta chum
love
the water.
I loved when the camera goes in the water and he's just so sad.
Yeah.
He's just so pissed.
It was a cool camera. You
Yeah,
don't see
no,
those
I
around
mean,
anymore.
it was pretty critical to his process,
His whole
as they
operation.
say.
Yeah.
No, and like I mean, again, didn't know this Zephyr Hassie Harrison coming in at all. Like, thought she was pretty good. She, also solid. And the movie has 4 people in it, maybe 5. There's like the neighbor, the boat neighbor guy, who is also fine. So, but like it really does hang on the Zephyr and Tucker performance, and they just work. It is, to Rachel's point, like it's such an absurd premise that like I tip my hat. Like it works here. I was just looking. Jai Courtney, you know who he played is the son of Bruce Willis in the Die Hard when they were trying to like
Yes.
bridge the Die Hard.
Somebody
He
in the
was
comments said
Dear.
Spartacus too.
Blood and
That
Sand.
makes sense. That makes
I
sense.
guess.
Oh, that's okay.
I don't think the original. John.
Yeah, no, he was a fetus. Yeah, no. So overall, good. And you guys mentioned it, but like Sean Byrne, I'm a fan. All 3 films, like they all work for me. Like pretty
Yeah.
cool. And yeah, so good times.
I'm aligned with everyone. Like, I wouldn't say it's a good movie per se,
Yeah, no.
but it's very entertaining. And I think what it does so well is like it doesn't fuck around with like what it is. Like, I sort of knew I was gonna like this movie when we were in this opening scene. So there's a couple in the opening scene, and you don't immediately realize they're not gonna be in the movie. And it's just a little bit of tension, and they're on the sea, and he's acting weird, and like, and then he just turns out of nowhere and just stabs the boyfriend like 4 times, and I was like, "Yes, sir. Let's get going here. Let's go." And then then the movie kind of restarts. We meet our characters, but she's on that boat,
Pretty fast.
chained up in like 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
She's in a surfboard bag real fast.
now even that in itself, I think, is a certain kind of like a screenwriting trap. Sometimes, like when you get somebody stuck they're kidnapped, and it's like, great.
Yeah, yeah.
Now they can't get out of this room. How do you keep the audience entertained?
How many times do we need to see her kicking her bed? Like that was
too
another
many.
one. Yeah, yeah.
It was hurting my feet watching her do that.
Yeah.
But they really do a good job. Like she's in there with the other girl. Anyway, like I love that it just gets to the point and that it doesn't draw out. That we're not in the boat for 45 minutes with him just giving funny glances and them not sure if he's a killer. Like it's just immediate, and what it does is it clears the way for him to just give. Truly, like sometimes you just see performances and you're like, this person was born to do this right here. Like this is what he was put on this earth to do.
Yes.
Be this swarthy, sweaty
Frosted
fisherman
tips.
dude. Don't get too excited, Rachel.
Don't tell me how to live, okay?
But truly, like I talk about the movie being horny for the ocean, but like, man, whoever wrote this movie like loves the fucking ocean. Or the director just did so much like there's so much philosophy about like what the ocean is and what it does and like how that pertains to the sharks and murders and like it's just and it's there's a campiness to it where like his whole thing is the performance because he could easily just kill all these people. He needs the fear and the tension, and he's kind of like it's like he's lonely, so they kind of become his friends temporarily before he kills them because he wants to just talk to them about the fucking ocean. It's like just fucking kill me, like just throw me overboard, like it's
Before
fine.
the like sea penises come and eat the victims. Yes, 100%.
But his performance is like absolutely just fantastic and fun to watch. I think one of my favorite moments, although very, I would say clearly inspired by like Mandy, but like him in the mess hall in his tighty whities, drunk, singing, dancing, like
Oh, I was getting
It's-
Buffalo Bill too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
little
Buffalo
Buffalo Bill,
Bill,
but
100%.
funnier. Like
Oh yeah.
Buffalo, that's just like an uncomfortable scene though. This is like very funny to watch. He did have red tighty whities on. I don't know if that's something they sell in Australia, but can't remember the last time I saw just a pair of bright red.
Aussie Indian.
Eric, we,
What do they-
we could
Speak
find
up.
we could find you some.
What do they call them in Australia? Like budgie huggers or something?
Budgie smugglers.
Budgie smugglers.
Budgie
Yeah.
smugglers. That's right.
Stop. Is that real?
That's
Yeah.
real.
I didn't just make it up. Yeah.
Oh man.
Honestly, like, I was expecting this to be a bad movie that I would come in and defend just to be a contrarian, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah,
sit.
it's a fun time.
I mean,
To be
it's
fair,
it's-
I am.
it
grading
surprised
on a
me-
Scale of shark movie.
It surprised
Well,
me, and
100%.
like it won me over quickly, which I wasn't. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting.
there was a lot of cool shots and stuff in this movie that Sean Byrne came up with that I thought really added to it as well. Like there was a shot when Zephyr was hanging on the cable towards the end out over the water, and you could see that shark coming up underneath the ocean as she
Some of
was
the
looking
shark
down
shots are
of it.
cool. Yeah.
Fantastic. It's that whole thalassophobia, I think it's called, thing, where you have the fear of what's below you and you can't tell. I suffer that for myself. I just thought that was a great
I didn't
moment.
think. I just thought that was human nature. You're telling me that's like.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah,
No, but it's just kind of like you feel the vast.
you get a little
like,
freaky. Freaked
the
out.
vast
Specifically,
unknown
the vastness of
around
the sea.
you.
Yeah.
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 I get that in
But-
like a lake. I'm like, I don't like this.
Like if
But, like, you were
seaweed
talking
touches
about-
my feet or something, I'm like, well, yeah, that was
No,
obviously
that's
a
fair.
parody.
But again, I just thought that was normal. You're telling me people like that? There's people who aren't bothered by
I
it.
think they're unbothered by it.
Oh,
yeah.
They don't.
Interesting.
They don't get the panic. Like,
Yeah.
Did
fair.
we find something John has anxiety about?
yeah.
I mean,
Incredible.
I like go in the ocean. It's not going to
800
stop me, but
episodes.
it's definitely like.
But
Oh,
the other, what like you were saying about Tucka, Eric, was that
Tucka.
him being lonely and liking to talk to these people and stuff. I really love that shot of him later. I don't think it was part of the dancing scene, but where he was sitting eating dinner, studying the tape from the night before. He was just watching it like TV. It was like just a small moment that they slapped in there, and it just really kind of opened up that character a little bit. Just watching him calmly eating his dinner, drinking a beer, watching his work.
Do you
So
think
interesting
they?
you interpret him as lonely? Like to me, I feel like it is all about control, which is why he's just constantly like mansplaining to them and like
Not-
sharing
well-
his philosophy. Like he's not connecting.
Maybe it's in
like,
particular
It's not
because, like,
loneliness. He
I
wants
think
the-
what it
he
is-
wants an audience.
It's a power
I-
thing because he's educating them with some like
Right.
deep
Yeah.
philosophy.
I guess where
that
I'm
he has
personally I'm
about
getting that from is because
snakes.
like he takes a shining to Zephyr, and he gets friendly with her in a way he's kind of not. It's whatever. It's still sadistic. Like he's still
Well,
torturing
it's
her,
that
but, like,
Marlin thing that he talks about. Like
she's a
he
she's a
says like
fighter.
once you're on the
Yeah.
boat, you've already
That's more
lost.
Boston.
And yeah,
Yeah.
Boston by way of Austin. It's fine.
Do you think that they named him Tucker intentionally because that was the name of Russell Crowe's boat in that South Park episode?
That was not my interpretation.
Talk about
Mine was much more
exploitation.
emasculating. But
The
I had
other,
to
the
ba-
movie it reminded me of, and this is a very weird Eric deep cut, but it made me think of Cabin by the Lake with Judd Nelson, because he's also like a serial killer and has to do with water and like control and like
Oh yeah.
it's
I
kind of
haven't seen
interesting.
that in forever.
It's great. John, what's going on?
John, get out of the road.
Ay, ay, ay. I
Shout me
wish.
out in the comments if you've seen Cabin by the Lake. Don't make me feel alone.
I had to do a double take in the middle of this movie too, watching Jai Courtney drunk, tying flies.
Oh God, tying like
The hair.
with
My
their
dad's
hair.
that was my dad's hobby for years, was tying flies. He didn't do it in his tidy whities while drunk, but
I feel like it would be really hard if you.
And he
had
didn't even
tied one
fish
on,
with
you
him.
know? Like,
He didn't even fish with him. He just taped him to the VHS
Yeah.
covers.
yeah.
This was another thing that I found slightly unbelievable. Like this, it strains credulity. Is the number of deaths, like very very high number. There were
I love
because
that he
he
just
opens that
killed-
cabinet and it's
Yeah.
like there's like 70 tapes or
I
something.
love that he just killed that old dude when he gets on the boat. He's
Yeah.
like, eh, fuck
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna kill
But
you,
that's
dude."
so that's sort of where I was going. It's like if you're that prolific, like you're gonna like he's just gonna get caught at some point.
Yeah.
There's just
You
too
know,
many bodies.
I
where
do
he's
have
people
got
would,
one-
angry issues. He's gonna get sloppy.
I do have one small thing, and I'm not even sure I would call it a complaint, but like, I felt like they went back to the well one or two times too often of like a very long, lengthy escape thing where she's trying to escape and there's a little bit of hope, and then he just gets her at the last second, and then it fades, and then she like wakes back up in bed. It's like,
Well, yeah.
you got to do that a couple times, but I just felt like by the time they were doing it for like the fourth time, I'm like, all right, can we just get to the fucking finale? Like, let's.
Well, this was
move
this
this
was my
along.
big thing. I felt like there. I'm trying to remember. I think it was mostly actually in the third act. He has to take them up and down, like from that hold to the like setup area, twice in
times.
like one day or something. And it was like, hold on, you just drugged them, took them up there, then stuff went wrong, so then they had to go back down. And did you drug them again? Because they skipped the part where he drugs them the second time, and they just like show them back on
Yeah.
the deck. And I'm like, what is going on here? at this
I
point?
will say what I did really like about that section, not that, well, like the whole third act, I like how things start going awry. And it starts with her throwing the camera. So that throws this
Mm-hmm.
whole fucking game off. So then he's got to go back to shore. He's got a
Find
camera.
another
But
camera. Yeah.
his acting, you feel it. You feel that he's unmoored and he's like
Yeah,
just
he's on
frustrated
film.
and just
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
push through it.
Yeah.
It's really great,
Totally
his performance
dysregulated.
through
Yeah.
that whole segment, and it starts to give the film like tension and momentum because you know like something's gonna go wrong, and like
Yeah, him in the thrift shop was like completely manic, and it was great.
I've
When that
never
old lady
seen a
started
cam.
talking to
By
him.
the way, Aussie Andy's gonna have to let us know, but I've never seen a camcorder in a thrift shop my whole life, or I would have fucking purchased it. So
Oh, I
you don't just find '80s camcorders hanging out in thrift stores. Maybe where you are, Rachel, you're like,
No, I mean I'm it's not something that I'm looking for. So next time I'm at Mantiques, I will look and see if I can find the
Mantiques.
Mantiques.
Sounds right. That sounds about right.
Yeah, it's more like nicer thrift store. Like it.
You
That's
barely
like the
can
stuff
even
that
find
gets-
actual VHS now. You'd have to find a place that like specializes in old electronics, probably, or something.
He
if those
did seem to
exist.
get pretty lucky, where he was like, "I'm so desperate for this camera," and he shows
a
up the
perfect
first.
replacement.
Yeah.
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 So
So I don't disagree with your critique about how it becomes repetitive, but I do think at least it has a ramping up because it escalates by to the point where she finally like literally chews off her foot to get out of the trap.
well,
I don't think that
her
I don't,
thumb.
Well, yeah, but metaphorically, she's like the prey
Oh,
animal
I
that
see.
chews
Yes.
its way out of the trap, right?
Yes.
I'm speaking in metaphor.
Yeah,
Keep
no,
up,
I was
John.
like, wait, did she chew off her foot too?
No, but I feel like you do kind of have to build to that moment because it is such an extreme But I mean,
Yeah, fair.
So I'm kind of like of two minds about the structure.
No,
of that
I
act.
actually I agree with you. And that sequence, I thought they were gonna do the
Deglove.
degloving.
Yeah.
Yeah, which what was
Yeah,
it,
that's what I
Gerald's
thought.
game?
I covered
we
my
got?
eyes when she broke her thumb. I can't do
Well,
hand
first
stuff.
she breaks the thumb, and then I thought she was just gonna like rip it off, and but the biting pretty extreme.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
no, it
kind
was-
of great.
It
It's
was
kinda
yeah,
great.
it was
I went
great.
with this.
But no, you're right. Like, but that I guess for me it was like before that was the part where it's like that's the part where it's sort of
No.
breaking the cycle. You're right, and it does with the ramp. He beats the hell out of that boyfriend guy. Like I also that was another one where I'm like, this dude is not surviving. Like,
Yeah.
I almost wish the movie hadn't pulled the punch on that one. It wrapped up a little too nicely at the end. I wish it was a little meaner at the
Well,
end.
listen,
But
he stabs him pretty hard, but it's like ever since Scream 5, I don't trust movie stabbing anymore. It broke my trust of movie stabbing. You
What
could
was the
watch somebody get
stabbing?
eviscerated and they're just going to walk back in the third act and just be like, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm like a little bloody." That's what happens to Dewey
Modern
in that
medicine
movie.
is hella
Dewey gets
good now.
straight up like not even like a little glancing blow. He gets like slashed to death and then he's back alive before the end of the movie.
but with some scars.
No, it's
bandaging?
just it's
No,
bullshit.
okay.
Stupid.
I like the boyfriend though. I
But
thought
my
he was
point
fine.
being, I
He was
knew the
good.
boyfriend was going to come back. That's the point I'm trying to make. I just knew.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to kind of wave your hand at a few things, like his. I mean,
Also, should we
move
say
over Sherlock
boyfriend?
Holmes.
They've
move
known each
over
other
Batman.
for three. They've known each
Yeah.
other for 3 hours, for the record. So,
Yeah.
boyfriend.
No, it was a
is-
romantic night, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
Have you
van.
ever had
Glamorous.
one of those? You know?
In the van.
But I mean, like his ability to like track her down is like the greatest detective on earth.
Oh yeah.
Like I had to just kind of go like, you know what? For the service of the momentum of this piece, we're just gonna assume that he's the greatest detective of all time. And then I also didn't love the action beat where she's like oogie boogie or whatever the hell she says at the end. I understand it's a reference to the song at the beginning, but I stand by my opinion that it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, the CCR
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
But-
Ooby Dooby.
Ooby
Dooby.
dooby. Yeah, yeah.
But
I've
I
never
mean,
heard that
I'm-
song in my life.
Oh,
this
Roy
movie. That's good.
Orbison's version's my
I
favorite.
was so confused.
Yeah.
I was like, "Is
It's
this a thing?"
huh?
Also,
I didn't know that was a. I've never heard it. So I was
No,
like,
it's
"Is
it's
this
like
supposed to be like a
it's
thing?"
it might be on Green River. It's on one of the like
yeah,
canonical CCR
I
albums.
think it's an old standard.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ooby dooby. Like, come on. It's,
I mean,
that's one
Roy
of those, like-
Orbison got had it on his greatest hits
Yeah.
too. So
no, I know.
they, I also like it. What you're talking about with Zephyr's boyfriend there. I like this is like the first time in the movie we've ever seen somebody find like somebody's broken in half surfboard, and the police actually like listened to him and they sent out rescue helicopters.
Yeah.
Oh well, because they thought she drowned. Like,
Yeah.
You know.
But usually in these type of movies, the boyfriend finds the broken surfboard and takes it to the officials that are like, "Oh, it's just trash. That's not hers," or it happens all the time. Sorry about your luck.
I don't know. I think this surfing down there is
She's
like
not
pretty
missing.
dangerous, and they have to find the body.
That's true.
So, I was, and I sort of mentioned it earlier. Like, yes, there's some shark action. I read because I was reading a little bit about. They used like actual shark footage, like some that I don't know if they shot it or if it was sort of like whatever. What's that called? Stock footage, but the like last shark, the final shark. I really wanted to see it. 'cause
The
it was-
money shot at the end where the shark gets him is
when it jumps.
chef's kiss. When
Yeah.
it just
Yeah, the
flies out of there
breach.
like a
Yes.
like a whale, just like
I still like because it was so fucking big, and you get the scene, you get the shot of her underwater with it, but then like I don't know, I just felt like
you didn't get enough.
you
wanted
didn't.
more
I
shark
wanted
action.
more of that.
Yeah,
And then
get
the
that.
shot of it jumping was a little,
And he's like
Yeah.
in its mouth, like ooh, like flying across the screen.
I mean,
Do
I
you understand?
laughed,
It's the
but-
same place that he was bit as a child, so it's coming full circle.
oh,
There you go.
actually, that's good.
That scar that he had was gnarly. So.
Yeah,
I mean, getting bit by a shark would mess you up. I will give.
I
you
like that line where he's like, "And I've been awake ever since."
it did kill the
honest,
movie
so.
for me, but my eye rolling moment for this movie is when Zephyr at the end was underwater and the shark came up, and then they had that meaningful glance eye to eye, and it swam away from her.
Well, a lot of the sort of tensest moments of this movie hinge on her being able to just like not move when he like
Yeah.
dips her in the water, and she's just like, I don't know. It's a little like, okay, just stay still, and then the sharks don't eat you. I guess I don't know, but yeah, it's
Would
good
it have been
times.
more
wait-
exciting if she was moving?
To be honest with you,
I
was
mean, they
waiting for
probably
her
would
to
have
punch
eaten her,
it.
right?
Well, but yeah, I guess so. The shorter movie.
Yeah.
I was honestly waiting for her to punch the shark in the nose because that is like a folk tale that you could punch a shark in the nose and it would leave you alone.
Yeah,
I've heard
I think
it
you're supposed to
before.
stick your hands in its gills. That's actually
Yeah.
the move.
Wow.
Not that I have shark anxiety or anything, and I've spent time on the internet looking at it.
Yeah, I just feel like this is probably best enjoyed. It's coming to Shudder soon, I assume. You just get like a 6-pack.
Yeah.
And, you know. Take,
This is a great movie for Shudder.
yeah, no, totally. Of the stuff, because they've
fun.
been, Casey, I think you were mentioning over text, like they've been
Oh,
putting
this
out a
is
lot more.
much better than
Yeah.
that sci-fi garbage we
Ash,
watched a
yeah.
couple months ago.
Yeah.
Well, and, they had a Clown in the Cornfield is them.
Which we're gonna do on video. We need to get that to that.
Yeah.
next,
Yeah.
It's out.
So
It's out.
it's out. Yeah. I think it just came out. No, but they're committing to theatrical a lot more. And so like, look, some of them are going to
Well,
work more than
this
others.
week I have to catch up on the first two 28 Days movies so that I can watch the other.
I feel like
this
it's
Friday.
been 28
Yeah, I'm
years
gonna
since I
rewatch,
watched them.
yeah.
So I feel like I should.
Yeah.
It's been 43 since I've watched any of these. I've never seen
Yeah.
them. So.
The
I look forward to
theatrical
your
release
man crush on
comment
Cillian
is-
Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I already- Fine, I've told this on the show before, but I worked with an Irish dude in Boston who went to high school with Cillian Murphy in like a very tiny little like village in Ireland. And he was really butthurt that he became famous because he was like, he's just like a dude. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't get the big deal.
Why does he care?
I know, but he was pissed. He didn't like him.
It's so weird. People are crazy.
Okay. Let's wrap it up. Would you recommend this, Casey,
Yes.
Rachel,
Yeah, get some joy in your life.
Jonathan?
Yes.
I almost just called you Joe Dirt, but I said not to. Yeah, thumbs up for me. We're going to hit my top 10 list on the other side. Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. John, I'm putting Dangerous Animals at number 5.
Ooh.
Mark on the calendar, 6/15/25. I have a full top 10.
Yeah.
movies.
That has it, at number 5. I feel like it has a shot to make it for the year.
It does. Oh, it absolutely does. You want to hear the list?
Sure, let's go.
From
This
1
is
to
your
10.
this is your midway point almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From 1 to 10. Ugly Stepsister. Sinners. Companion. John's favorite, The Rule of Jenny Penn.
good.
Number 5, Dangerous Animals. Then Presence. Final Destination, Bloodlines, The Monkey, Hard Eyes, and Fear Street.
Rule of Jenny Penn, also a Shudder release, wasn't it?
Yes, it
I believe
was.
so.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, Shutter.
Yeah.
You might. Let's see what happens the rest of this year. I might get a wild hair and just make that my number. And listen, I'm gonna be real with you. If the Vortilac counted for this year, it would have been my number one. Like no question.
You're
The
you
Vortilac is
fucking-
great.
Yeah, you rode so
Yeah.
hard for the Vortilac. I
I'm
can't,
obsessed.
Dude, just we got
I literally went out. I tried to buy like merch. There's no merch, John. Like, where did that movie even come from?
Eric, we got Puppet Aliens coming for you in August,
Okay,
bro.
okay,
Strap in.
You're the puppet.
Some movie you may have heard of.
Okay. As we said earlier, this is episode 800. I want to super duper shout out everybody. Like, we got so many messages on Slack, Instagram. I'm going to do my best to motor through what we can. Maybe we'll try to save stuff for next time. But just wanted to say thank you to everyone who wrote in with their BGH memories. Very thankful. I apologize if I skip some, but John gets very impatient. mean, he
I
doesn't
do.
take
No,
it
he's
so
not
far.
wrong. You know,
Um,
like I feel like we've done the hardcore navel gazy, round number episodes. So this one, let's just celebrate and rip through.
couple of YouTube comments before I get to that on our review tonight. Our friend Webby, I too am horny for the ocean. He's got a whole
I love the
ocean
ocean.
sleeve.
Yeah, he
He's
does.
got a whole tattoo sleeve of the ocean, so I guess that makes sense. It's the Spartacus TV show, John.
Yeah, it wasn't on. I don't know. I was trying to find it on the IMDb, but
Lara says we can find camcorders at pawn shops in the Midwest.
Yeah, that's
I
where
don't
I'd see
feel
him.
like they're that hard to get your hands on.
There's a lot cooler like pawn shops and like antique malls, like stuff like that out in other areas. There's pawn shops up here, but they're not places you want to go. They're not fun. It's like dangerous. You don't want to go.
Yeah. I mean, Eric, you've experienced the Ohio antique malls. I mean,
Yeah.
that's most of the Midwest is those antique malls.
That one we went to in Ohio, yeah, and that spooky vacation was incredible. Okay. Some great emails. I'm reading the emails first, Sean, because it warms my heart that people are still using email. And
I know you've
You
completely
it's
given
like
up.
the Telegram or something.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Our friend Roger, aka Robale. Congrats, y'all. I don't even remember how long I've been listening. I was using a Zune, if that dates it. 2009, maybe.
Wow.
I remember
Incredible.
I had an iRiver at that time, John. Do you remember iRiver?
no,
A
that
very
sounds like-
fleeting iPod competitor.
Yeah,
2009, maybe. I remember finding out what a podcast was and trying to find things I liked. There wasn't much at the time, even for horror. You were the one I liked, and I haven't missed an episode since. That was 2 years in, too. In a world like we live in, thank you for sticking through it all and giving us something to look forward to. Through moves, children, job changes, cast changes, illness, you show up. I remember emailing maybe 10 years ago, having re-listened to the entire catalog, that you had almost 2 weeks straight of content. Now it's easily 50 days. I've spent more time with y'all in my ears than most of my real life friends. Brock Lesnar has shown us nothing but Brock Lesnar has shown us nothing gold can stay, but BGH may be the exception. Cheers. Thank you, Roger. That's very sweet.
Thank you.
Christopher Silva, congrats on 800. I've been a fan and consistent listener for 14 years. In fact, the first episode I downloaded was the Final Destination 5 episode that came out during the summer of 2011. So when the new FD movie came out, it made me very nostalgic of those times first discovering the show. That said, thank you for being a consistent presence in my life throughout that time. While the podcast has changed in many ways, you all have continued to provide quality content and insightful commentary on the horror genre that always feels fresh and new. Here's to 800 more. Thank you. I just love the stories
Thank
of like
you.
the years. I love hearing like when people start
Yeah.
listening because it's always so interesting.
That
All right, we're
50
gonna back
days
through-
stat from Robale is kind of insane.
Yeah. Try to bank through some of these Slack messages. Skylar, loyal listener since spooky season 2016. Since I started listening, not only have you created hundreds of episodes of blood-soaked entertainment that's reinvigorated my childhood love of horror, but you've provided many like me a community of awesome fellow weirdos spanning the United States and the world. Cheers to 800. Tommy, been listening since Scream 4 and Insidious in early 2011. Glad the show and later the Slack community have been there since. We got a lot of nice messages about the Slack community and kind of like what it's meant to people. As our friend Zach John was saying, so he's like in his early 30s and he's been listening to us for 15 years. So
Nice.
basically half his actual
Formative.
life he's been listening. Yeah, shout out to Zach.
Just happy to be part of his puberty, you know.
Oh, John. Dutch, I found BGH in 2010 after I graduated college and moved across the country for work. I was away from home, family, and friends, working in the middle of the Sonoran Desert. Miles from anything, I came across a creepy house with a flock of peacocks. It was so surreal. The house reminded me of the house from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I looked for a horror podcast to listen to while driving around for work. The first one I found was BGH. I didn't have to bother looking for another. Y'all helped rekindle my love of the genre. 15 years later, it's still my favorite show. To see how it's grown has been a pleasure. Congrats to every current and former host of the show on 800 episodes, and thank you for your contributions to the community. We posted on Instagram today. Got a nice message from CC in the comments. It was nice to hear from her. Joe. Shout out to everybody else that was on a couple shows until they stuck in my craw the wrong way. That's not what happened to CC and Joe, to be clear, but it's what happened to some other people along the way.
Oh, Lordy. I never had a problem with anyone, just to be clear.
My days are numbered.
Watch yourself, Rachel.
The true story, the love story between Eric and Schnars has all been covered up. The feud between me and Schnars behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's vicious. You guys have no idea.
I apologize, guys. I got to kind of burn through some of these, but Webby's been listening 2010, 2011. When I was working a soul-crushing job that let me put headphones. I've heard from a lot of people who would like sneak headphones at work, like kind of like just like try to hide their headphones. I fell off as a listener for some time, but came back strong during the pandemic and got more involved in the community. I think that was definitely a lot of people's stories.
Yeah.
Alyssa, y'all been here for me since my freshman year of college. We basically all raised Alyssa,
Yes.
so you're welcome.
Alyssa does call me her internet dad.
That's right. Let's see. Dusty. I came across BGH in 2010, immediately felt like hanging out with buddies. Smart buddies who didn't let me talk, but buddies all the same. That's what it's like to hang out with me anyway, so. I was lucky enough to be in the Milwaukee area for the meetup in 2017. Going by myself and not knowing anyone was a bit overwhelming, and I nearly left without talking to anyone. But a drunken Schnars forced me to buy a wrap from the food truck.
Yes.
Was it a sushi wrap? You remember there was a sushi truck?
Yes.
I do.
Then CC, of course you don't remember. Then CC invited me to sit with her table for trivia. It was a tremendous night that I won't forget. After feeling extremely awkward, those two small moments made it feel like home. He's neglecting to mention, John, you were dressed up like Herbert West,
Yes.
and we all nicknamed you Pervert West because you looked so creepy.
It's still probably my favorite Halloween costume.
Lara, I started listening in 2014 thanks to an ex-boyfriend who may or may not still listen, and I also have not run into here on Slack. Made some great friends along the way. Community's amazing. I don't think I would have made it through the pandemic without you guys. Very grateful for all of you from watching chats, which they do on Slack, meetups, Zoom trivia, Zoom brunch meetups, and gift exchanges. This is stuff you wouldn't know about, John, because you don't really hang out.
Yeah.
Look, I did. There was a time where I was, but you don't have to rub it in.
Congrats on 18 years. Aussie Andy, been listening to you guys for years, across 4 jobs, and I've listened as hosts have come and gone and loved hearing the show from strength to strength. You guys have taken one for the team and reviewed movies I'll never watch. I'm looking at you, a Serbian film. Through the amazing Slack community, I've gotten to interact with some of the best horror fans, thanks to trivia, and made some truly great friends. I actually had the opportunity to meet Fun Aunt Whitney in person, and she was here in Australia for work. No way that ever would have happened without BGH, and for that one moment, I'll be forever grateful.
Oh.
I will make it over there and meet as many of you as possible in the future. And I can't forget that BGH brought us Dads from the Crypt. I was 36 when the show started. Cheers to 800. Mondo's been listening since 2008. He's an OG.
Yeah.
My soul dog, Freya, passed on the same day that the Blink Twice review came out. I listened to it a few days later, and it was the first time I laughed since her passing when Eric told the story of gaslighting his dad. I started slowly turning the light down in the room, and he told me he thought he was dying. He like jumped at the table.
You're amazing.
Yeah, guys, there's so many more. I can't read all these. I'm sorry, but Rachel, Helen, Jace, Frankie, Liz. Oh, Liz,
Dude,
I
you
may
stop
be the
reading
first
those
person who
names.
first said you didn't look like basement dwellers. Thank you for continuing to roll with me into middle age, and here's to another 800. I'm just trying to like scan them. Yeah.
Riveting.
Yeah.
Please stay quiet while Eric reads.
You could be doing this too. I can't remember. This is Helen. I can't remember how long I've been listening, but BGH is my favorite podcast. The one I listen to as soon as possible. It's really nice to find such a cool and inclusive community, especially when it felt impossible to find fellow horror nerds as a stay-at-home mom. I'm sorry to say I couldn't pass along the horror gene to my girls, but I'm still working on it. It's so great to find people that love to discuss gore, body horror, and all the things that gross out the normies around here. I know it takes so much hard work and effort, and I appreciate you all. Thanks for what you do. It's very sweet. Rachel, I definitely have people from this community I now consider my friends, including all of you because I met you in person. Rachel came out to the last one, but we did. Where was that? Cincy?
Cincy.
The Bob Evans trip. Yeah, Rachel's really cool. I liked her and her boyfriend a lot. And I got drunk with John, so we're BFFs. That's all
takes.
Slack. Casey, do we have anything on Threads? And then I'll just see if I can hammer through some of the...
Well, we
Actually,
do have
wait.
one
I'm
on
sorry.
Threads.
Wait. I got to get this in because he sent in an email too, but Jace wrote us. I've only discovered the show in the last couple of years, but instantly felt like listening to friends I've known forever. I probably listened to about 500 episodes, and it's like a time capsule for the last 15 years. Thank you guys for providing a community of horror fans turned friends that I never would have met on my own, and for reigniting my love of the genre. And a question to tie in with tonight's episode. How about everybody in the podcast list their 800 most dangerous animals? Okay, maybe just top 2, since we all know Rachel's number 1 is spiders.
Literally, I was like,
most dangerous.
I'll just start naming. In Australia, they are. They're so dangerous there.
In Australia, they are, yeah.
Everything in
but
Australia
not
is to
New
kill you,
Zealand.
Schnars.
Oh,
It's not just Jai Court.
just let him into your ear in New Zealand.
They're more reclusive there. There's only one kind, and there's only one kind of venomous one, and they're very reclusive. So you're pretty safe in New Zealand. So, you know, pro tip.
Casey, what do we got?
We got one out there from our good buddy Metal Prof, wishing us congrats on 800. Metal Prof's been with us a long time too, so always great to hear from him.
Yes.
I got to meet Metal Prof in person just a couple weeks ago as he's passing through town. We got to meet up and have coffee.
That's cool.
It's a fun hangout.
Love it. Is that it?
That is it.
Just the one. Okay. All right. Oh my God, there's so much in Instagram. Let's see. Oh, so I posted and then I asked for comments. John, I want to shout out Jenna, who's Zombie Futon on Instagram. She's the first person to ever show up to a BGH meetup. We did our New York City meetup like
Yes.
15 years ago. I don't even know how long it was. And I remember she was like nervous to show up. Do you remember that she brought a first date there?
I don't remember
And
the first date. I do remember. She went
No,
somewhere
like
with it.
they had just met. This was their first date, and I remember Joe fucking torturing the two of them.
I mean,
That sounds
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
he would have tortured them if they were married. It's just-
I don't think it lasted very long, from what I recall.
Shout out Jenna. You're right.
She says, "Y'all helped me out through so much. I love listening to you guys. Follow all your lives throughout the years. Thanks for always being there." Our friend Erica, formerly of Night of the Living podcast. I'll never forget my time at Spooky School. The most fun a ghoul could have.
Oh, remember the spooky school penance?
Do you remember her
Yeah, oh,
Spooky
yeah.
School is basically prison? Remember that?
Yeah.
Talk about 10-year-old.
We went
inside
off the
jokes.
deep end on Spooky School for a while there. Yeah.
Old Man Ghostface, congrats on 800. That's a huge milestone. Craig is our boy Advice,
Oh yeah.
who wrote about
Four
the
Color
Fart
Craig.
House.
Yeah.
You've been an essential listen for me since 2011. This is what I liked about Craig's. Podcasts led by celebrities and comedians devolve and crumble while you guys keep leveling up and growing. Love to see it. Many congrats. Very nice message. Whitney, my favorite memories were how Slack went to another level during COVID. We really were there for one another and still are. Incredible friendships have formed because of the community y'all have cultivated. The inside jokes from trivia nights to supporting one another with gifts during hard times. I can't imagine my life without the BGH community. I mean, truly, like Slack was a lifeline for me during COVID for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all going off the deep end, to be clear, and
Yeah.
we were doing it together
Together.
on Slack.
Yeah,
It was just
that
going
the thing.
insane
We were
together,
doing it
so at least it
together.
was like it felt productive.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So listen, Slack is the reason why I have like 3 million bells in Animal Crossing because
When you guys record.
we were all gaming the turnip system together and traveling to each other's islands to sell them for the highest price.
Oh,
And
that's
then they
so
sat
crazy.
in the bank account for 5 years in Animal Crossing and gained interest, John.
Yeah.
I don't have real life
remember
interest,
those.
but I got that,
No, you do.
you know.
Yeah.
Michael, my favorite memory was the Zoom Halloween get together where I won the costume contest for being Grace from Ready or Not. Such a great time. Loved sitting on a call for hours in a skirt with you all. John, if you recall, people who don't remember or didn't show up to those Zoom parties we had, both years I dressed up as you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was
Halloween.
a special moment for me.
First year was like regular Schnars, and then the second year was pandemic Schnars, and I had like a wig with the long hair and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bought a Duke hat, didn't you? You like
I
bought
did
a,
buy Duke hat.
did.
It's still in a
Yeah.
box somewhere.
Yeah.
Levi, I knew I loved this show when I heard Eric rant for 15 minutes about how bad the Star Wars prequels are, and that there are actually people among us who like them. You guys have gotten me through sometimes. Thank you. I still have a crush on Rachel. Ooh, Rachel.
Me?
And, you know,
Well, thanks.
what other?
This, John, is that this thing he's talking about with the prequels is like probably one of the most satisfying experiences of my entire life, which was like in 2008 telling you that children who were growing up watching the prequels were going to think they were good when they became adults, and you acting like there was just no way that could ever happen. Are you prepared to
No,
take
no.
it back now?
So you're right, but I maintain that anyone with any objective sense of taste knows
That
they're
wasn't
not
the
actually
no,
good.
no. That wasn't the discussion though. You told me it was impossible that would
No,
happen.
you're right that the trend has swung back. Like they've like become.
Listen, it's not.
I wouldn't
I'm not
still wouldn't say they're
Nostradamus.
beloved. Like let's just.
I'm
be
not
clear.
Nostradamus. It's just like nostalgia's a hell of a drug, John. Like I just
Yeah.
knew that from my own child. I fucking think Chud is like the best movie ever made.
Chud is a good movie though.
I mean, it is. Yeah,
It's
it is.
Chud 2. I draw the line just to be clear.
I like
but-
Chud too a lot
No,
too.
see that's complete crazy. We watched it not that long ago. I mean, that was.
Yeah.
Our gal Cece, congratulations! What a great community of amazing people.
Yeah.
Sinsig, I've been listening to the show for nearly its entire existence. It's crazy to think how much I've grown in that time and how much everyone in the show has gone through as well. I'm getting emotional about a podcast. I can't pin down one single moment, but Cece and Joe going at each other always had me in tears laughing. When they were going at each other, you just backed away. You
Oh,
didn't,
yeah.
You didn't get
Heck yeah.
involved. Yeah. Congrats, guys, from the Horror Squad, the good friends of the show. Jeff Sherman, I've been listening since 2012. Stopped listening to most other podcasts. I never miss an episode of BGH.
Oh, cool.
Our friend Sophie, John Sophie, is our friend who works on all the Hell House LLC movies.
Oh yeah, nice.
I love
Last
this
one
message.
coming, or for now.
I like this message. I started listening fresh out of college while I was working my first staff job in a costume shop. I loved horror movies, but I hadn't found a community in my new city to share that with. The podcast has been in my life through so many milestones, big and small, and has been such a comfort to check in with you almost every week. Sometimes if I feel like I'm not achieving enough or meeting my goals, I throw on an episode and remind myself that the 22-year-old sitting at a sewing machine and listening to you guys argue about the Prom Night remake would think that what I've accomplished is pretty cool. Thank you for keeping us going for so many years. Congratulations. That one makes me misty, John. I like that one.
Yeah. And we do think it's pretty cool what you've done
Yeah.
since then.
Alan Merch, you boy. Merch.
Merch.
You guys have
Yeah.
accompanied me on literally hundreds of miles of running since I got into the ultra marathon lark during lockdown. And it's crazy how long I was already listening by that point. So many car and train journeys too that were all the more memorable listening to you guys. So many memories. I think my favorite is still Drunk Schnars talking about the delightful Paranorman, chastising someone for the most minor of plot points, not even close to being a spoiler, and then he just spurted out the biggest plot twist without a second thought. That and Casey's take on one of the Resident Evil films where they spit bullets out of their fingers, and Eric giggling, happy times. So funny.
Yeah,
I've
I've
been
I've had to stop drinking as much during the show, just to be clear. So,
It was always a special night, yeah, when John got a little litty.
I've been
been
following
coming in
Alan on threads
Bring
for
it back.
quite a while now, and the number of miles that man has run in ultra running
yeah.
is insane.
Yeah.
no, we're Strava buddies. That's like my
Yeah.
version of social media, and he's getting it done.
Yeah, he goes out and runs
Legend.
100-mile races like it's just a casual weekend.
Karma forgot me. She's been here for a while. I remember discovering your podcast. Here's for you, Casey. Discovering your podcast on Something Awful
Ooh.
long ago. By far my
Nice.
longest subscribed podcast. That's it. Didn't you used to go on there and post about us, Casey?
Yeah,
I
way
wonder if
back
it was
in the
from one of
day.
your posts. Oh, here's from Zach. I was just thinking, I've been listening to you guys for 14 of my 32 years. Insane. You've gotten me through hard times, become friends I truly look up to, and taught me that some people don't scrub their feet in the shower. It's true. If you guys
Sociopaths.
appreciated Skyline Chili, you'd be perfect. Let's relax. Thanks for all the
Whoa.
hours of enjoyment and company. Mad happy for you guys. Tons of messages, really sweet stuff. Thank you all. Yeah, amazing. We're off by a week. Mark could have joined us tonight. He's flying in next week.
What? Are you gonna make him go see 28 years later?
I hadn't thought of that. Now, when he comes in, he's very like in demand. You know,
Okay. Jesus.
guys, 800 episodes. John, we got to
Yeah.
keep going at least till 1,000. Like,
I mean, 4 years. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Four
well,
more
when you say it like
years.
that, it sounds exhausting.
It does sound exhausting.
4 years. 200 episodes. I'm like, yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
That's like,
I mean, look.
Well, we can do the 2 years to 20, and then we can decide.
There you go.
true.
We got
Serious-
milestones.
Yeah, we got milestones for years.
Huge thank you to everybody who wrote in. I apologize if I missed anyone or shortchanged, but I was overwhelmed by the amount of stuff we got. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Next week, 28 years later. It's not 28 years later, but they're like, fuck it. You guys are old now. You'll buy it.
Yeah, it's like they had to stick with the gimmick, you know?
Yeah.
Feels like 28 years.
Oh, God.
Feels like 100 years.
Yeah. When was the first one was 2000? Is that didn't we look this up
Oh,
last week?
Yeah, I think so. It's
I think so.
That or
No,
2001.
no, it was no. Oh no, yeah, no.
Because I
and
thought
this-
we
No.
covered it.
Yes. Yes, no.
2002, and then the sequel
Yeah.
came out the year we started, but like 6 months before we started in
Gotcha.
2007. Yeah,
Okay.
which is why I've never seen either. So, like 2002 was a weird like. No, I guess I was still watching a lot of horror then. I did have like a dark period there for a
The
little.
second one was weeks, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely saw it in the
threatened to
theater.
do months for a really long time, and then
Oh, that's
They
good.
just couldn't do it. They were like, "Ugh, it's
Couldn't
been
get it
too
together.
long.
And
Yeah.
the second one's Robert Carlyle, which, I never shrug at a Robert Carlyle movie.
I mean, look, they got the band back together here, so
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Next week, 28 years later. Thank you everybody for joining tonight, chatting with us. Appreciate you guys. And that's gonna do it.
you.
Yes, we love you very much.
Yes.
We'll talk to you next week.
See yous.
bye bye.
Bye-bye.